this year the Queen Quet. This year is the day of the remembrance for we ancestors and them who have been the victims of the transatlantic slave trade. Every year, this year things celebrate different way all around the world and things like that. And the UN beat up, make sure all the rest of people on stand say March 25th a day for look back on all of what they've been through. So me pray say this year day, 100 to spend to do something for remember we ancestors. What I to do, the idea in this year area called Algiers in Louisiana. This year been the point of landing for many of we ancestors what we done then get sailed through the Mississippi River and things like that. So we thought it not robbery for come here, for pay homage to the ancestors here in Louisiana after we done do the Gullah Geechee Going Back Conference. Now one thing we know say, God done smiled for me for sure. And when you see certain thing, you might not understand that God smiling upon you. But see, we try for always stay tuned for me understand them kind of thing. So look at what we found. A shrimp cake. The first time coming here to this year landing point and we have a final shrimp bowl. Now most of the children probably say, well, they ain't study so much about the shrimp. Y'all are study with the crawfish if we did down here in Louisiana. Well, look here, it got shrimp down here too, okay? So we're so glad to see this. But look on here, they're talking about saving we culture. So you know, and then what it look like, it gold. So the black gold, that's where they link to the culture they at. And we're so glad for being right here in Algiers Point this year time, for this year journey, to NOLA and on through, especially for we remember who we be, that we be Gullah Geechee anointed people. And we pay homage to all of we Geechee ancestors where we come up this year Mississippi, sell even yonder and Natchez to the river road and things like that. And rather was them blood that stay in this year water upon this year land that connect we back and forth across this year sand that 100 children called Louisiana. So this year day, never forget where 100 come from. Because if 100 ain't know where 100 they from, 100 ain't going to know where 100 are going. And when 100 know where 100 they from, pass them to the children now. Because that way, they can stand we be. And then for sure, we going to have more people that going to save the culture and more that will hold upon them. And the water to bring with you, water have to take me back. Peace and blessings. 300 years. 300 years later, 7,000 African people were brought to Algiers Point here in Louisiana, just across the water from the city of New Orleans. 7,000 African people were enslaved here, most of which were brought in from Senegal, only between roughly 1712 and 1735. But here it is that by the end of that process, because of disease, because of the encounters with the French and other Europeans in this area, and the encounters with the diseases that the Africans were not accustomed to, that number had gone down to half of the original arrivals that were brought in here to Algiers Point. So here on this portion of Gullah Geechee TV, Nayshun News, we want to forget the truth, but what been going on down here in Louisiana when it comes to we ancestors that will come in to this year point called Algiers. This year the Queen Quet head from the body of the Gullah Geechee Nation. Well, how Hunter children to do? This year the Queen Quet coming to Hunter for this year Gullah Geechee TV Nation News one more again. Standing here at Algiers Point, you're right across the water from New Orleans. Many times people that come to NOLA and things like that, but you not get on the ferry and across the river and things like that. But the Mississippi River, the one place where we ancestor them, but so up and down, that get people down here into the deep south, not just in Louisiana, but then the Mississippi. So many people, if you go on Natchez, Mississippi, and you can see back yonder behind me, going the riverboat where they're going Natchez and coming back and forth, it'll take the same route that the enslavement vessel been to take and carry people to a place called Forks in the Road where they in Natchez, Mississippi. What been one of the biggest selling point for we people down here in what you call the deep south. Now another major port city, the New Orleans. But what you ain't know see, this your point here in Algiers been one of the seasoning point. Just like I did it in the Gullah Geechee Nation, where people been climbing the Sullivan Island and be holding for a while before it take them downtown Charleston and sell them. This have been the point where we ancestors them be held over here before we get them cross over yonder into NOLA and then get them up to other rest of place. And some of them sell from right here and then we carry them further and further into Mississippi and other rest of place. So 100 children the Yeti but Geechee, Even you're in the deep south, it still got plenty of connection to we were there in the Gullah Geechee Nation. Some big gang march and cross the land on foot, and other rest of children will put on board and thing and sell down river. That way when 100 children plenty time during Black History Month, you see these your documentary, and then they threaten the people saying go sell them off and they go sell them down river. It means they being sell them into the deep south, into the gang plantation system what be there in Louisiana. So when 100 understand that these your points and thing, 100 can feel that energy. You can still feel that spirit and thing like that. Now many months ago when we were there last year and thing, this year place been flooded because water and thing been coming in through the rain, and the city been flooded this year. We just stand on top of the levee right now, and so God ain't for us trouble the water last time this year flood. Man be doing, but see man can't keep on to do whatever it want to till it honor the ancestors. Plenty blessing ain't gonna come true. So it's so glad that Sister Kathy Smith got the African village here at Algiers Point. And next time 100 children are coming to NOLA, make sure you take the ferry cross and then come here and have a tour and understand but who we be even here on this year land and see where we ancestors will stand. So on this year International Day of the remembrance of the victims of the transatlantic slave trade, we couldn't do nothing greater than to come here and stand on this year land and stand at this recreation of the African village. But when we people been held here, it ain't been such a village as such that they've been in. It's been these kind of seasoning points. But that's the point that Hunter have forget. People try to flavor you another rest of way and take your culture from you. But if God says so, Hunter can hold upon even to this year day. So Hunter children, if you know me and who me be, you know me Gullah Geechee anointed and free. This year the Queen Quet, head upon the body of this year Gullah Geechee Nation. And when Hunter there with me, Hunter going to know that this year that what going on. Now here at the African village, there's a number of different things that you can learn about, one of which we talked about the Gullah Geechee Going Back Conference here in New Orleans, right across the river, was this very fact, that Black Indians in the Mardi Gras. Now as you can see here, the arrival of the Africans began as unions with families with Native Americans that continue to have ties in Algiers where we're standing right now, even unto today. On Mardi Gras Day, y'all like to talk about the Mardi Gras, everybody talks about New Orleans and coming for the Mardi Gras Fat Tuesday and all of that. Well, this is the reason. The Black Indians gathered and rode horses to each maroon camp to display to their camaraderie and their costumes while assuring that the villages of protection and connection existed between the hidden camps in the swamps. This entire area was nothing but swamp. And this is a depiction of one of the Black Indians, the Native Americans that were here, the African people that were still indigenous to this region and to this land. So more often than not, when people come into the South in general, and much less the Deep South, they want to segregate and separate these stories, but you can't, because the people themselves are the living embodiment of these cultural ties and connections. Semba Bambara. Semba was part of the Bambara Society, who were some of the first of the enslaved people here in New Orleans as our ancestors. The earliest enslaved were the Bambara, but Semba, he was a trader of his own people, but he was sent from Senegal because he spoke Bambara and French and was used as an interpreter. So what Semba did was acted in that position as trader until he could lead an uprising. So the revolt that he went to lead, he wanted to free all Bambara enslaved people. But 1 week before the uprising was to happen, his plan was discovered and he was executed at Jackson Square. Sounds very, very similar to what took place in Charleston when we talk about Denmark Vesey or Denmark Vesey. And so here you see one of the people of the Bambara Society, who was an ethnic group from Senegal, known for their intelligence, strength, and skills. Most of the enslaved that were brought to Louisiana between 1723 and 1730 were Bambara, and their organizational skills were what helped to have them organize even in their own freedom, because they were loyal to their own culture and to their own cultural community. And so this is the type of story that you can learn when you come here to the African village that's here at Algiers Point. And as you can see, this is still an active waterway. So just imagine that you come from this along an active waterway in West Africa and end up at this point of arrival in Chains, where now what you begin to see when you are sold downriver or upriver here along the Mississippi, or other women, the woman them and things like that look like a hundred mama them back on them, but you know into them, know it a hundred auntie them from back on them, but into them, hundred the year my double lash and thing over here, and then care hundred of the rest of people with cracky teeth like a hundred. So sure, if hundred of them borrow, well hundred of Geechee people, and you yet the same thing, hundred going to get together and say what we going to do, but we have to be free.